All right, everybody. It's that time again. It's shenanigans time. Let's take a quick look at the leaderboard to show the standings after round 4. You'll notice a strike through in Mutation's name there. He will be replaced in all future events by Argentum the Phoenix. And with that, we begin round 5, the viewer's choice. Round 5 has 2 stages, and the first stage has 2 parts, we'll call them. The first is what I'm calling functional incline, and the second is basically an identical thing, but it's functional side hill. One is straight up and one is to the side. Each will be scored individually, so you can pull a top score for both incline and side hill. We begin, as we always do, with the leaderboard leader going first. So Zoidberg became the guinea pig for the test of this. We will watch in sort of sped up motion what I basically had to do with every competitor. Just keep angling the board up until I got to a point where he could no longer pass it. And then that's when I knew I had gotten to the angle. I have a good old woodworker's angle meter there, quick clamped to the side of the board, and I would go back through it in ultra super slow-mo and try to judge as close as I could what the maximum degree of climb was, and then I would repeat that same function for the side hill. So these took a while. I mean, I had to do 8 rigs on incline, 8 on side hill, just moving that board over and over and over again. And there were definitely some surprises here. So Zoidberg is the only one that you're going to see go through the motions over and over again with all the fails. Everyone else, it's just, you'll see the incline and you'll see the side hill. So currently sitting second is Jolly Green. So he'll be second at the incline board. It's not really a surprise what incline this can pull once it lost its defender body. It's one of the better straight vertical climbers, but doesn't do super great on side hill. It's still heavy. I know it looked really easy clearing that 46.25 degrees, but it fell a lot. So we'll move straight on to Blue Sky High, who kind of surprised me on the incline. I mean, he's basically two-wheeling most of that, so that was a really good balance. That's definitely as steep of an incline as he can climb. On side hill, he just continually lifted a tire. It's still the high mark at this point. On to Daphne, who I don't know if it's those tires or if it was the condition of the board or what, but maybe suspension setup. But Daphne did not get nearly as steep of a direct climb angle as I would have expected. She does have the shocks from the long travel kit, and then keys to bring the height back down. So she has all droop, and big droop apparently doesn't help incline or side hill because she's a couple degrees below everyone else. Lil Yella suffering here a bit once again. Pitbull tires. I'm guessing they grip much better on rock than they do on an old piece of carpet, because this is sped up because it was going so slowly. I had to creep to keep it going up that incline. It did much better on side hill, so much better that it is in the lead for that event at this point. And And we move on to Colonel Mustard, who his suspension has gotten some tinkering, and he's gotten portal weights since the last round, and that helped quite a bit. His tires did all right. He's still on OE tires, and he's got that one, he's peg-legging it up there, but he was really stable. I think a little bit heavier weight oil in the shocks might get him a better side hill score. These events are actually being extremely helpful because they point out whatever weaknesses the vehicles have in tuning. I have to say here, this one is relatively short, and Ironsides took the most work to go through this. I mean, I gave him the credit for that one where he fell off. And then here in the side hill, I gave him credit for 40 degrees because he passes 39 with no problem and falls off of 41 and fell off of 41 like a dozen times. But I just kept going at it. And then here's the Phoenix, Argentum, who has replaced Mutation in the 8th spot. And his CG is a little high on those stock tires because the wheels are very light, but he does have an ability to slow climb a remarkably steep slope, far steeper than what I would have anticipated. And then I think that short travel with those 80mm shocks gives him a quite respectable side hill performance as well. That closes out the runs for incline and side hill. And this is just a straight running order, and then we'll shuffle them into the winners for incline. Argentum won it by a hair, and side hill goes to Lil Yella, again by a hair. That VS4-10 Phoenix up near the top of both, which gives us the point breakdown for incline and the point breakdown for side hill. And then we'll tally all those up and put them on the leaderboard and see if that shakes anything up. What it does is move Jolly Green into a tie with Zoidberg and drops everybody down a little bit. Argentum picks up a spot from where Mutation was in last by stellar performance. And we're going to go straight into the second part of round 5, which I think people are going to like. It was popularly requested, and it was somewhat difficult to do. It's the king of the board. I couldn't think of any other way to start this than old-timey racing method, where first battles last, so it's 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, etc., etc. We're going to get straight into it. I'm going to try to squeeze as much color commentary in as I can, but some of these rounds are 3 seconds long. Fight! The 1v8 battle, to start with, really one of the best. I mean, these two pretty evenly matched at trying to pull each other off of a board with some chain that I stole from some fluorescent lights. Any other method I tried to hook them together, they would just pull the ends off the cords. So I ended up having to resort to chain, and it worked pretty well. Zoidberg's weakness here being the same reason he didn't do too well on incline. He's pretty easy to flip over. So Argentum comes out victorious in that round. Jolly Green versus Ironsides, a battle of TRX4s, and that one was decided pretty early on. Ironsides got more of a dig that time. We go to the third. Jolly Green wastes no time. That was 2 seconds. So we have our first 2 winners. Colonel Mustard and Blue Sky High. Blue Sky High, one of the lighter rigs here, which you could see there. Colonel Mustard just just drives off the board. That was almost uneventful. Daphne and Lil Yellow, this is not a fair contest. There's 50% more weight on Daphne's wheels, and it just dragged Lil Yellow out of the contest. So there's the end of the opening bracket, which will bring us to the winner's bracket and loser's bracket.
Fight!
So we're going to start with the two first winners. Jolly Green and Argentum are going to battle, and boy did they battle. They're relatively close in weight, and they just pivoted themselves off the board over and over again. And after 3 fails, we went back to Jolly Green on that side, and Jolly Green appears to dominate on the right side of the board. There was a lot of victories pulling down on the right side of the board, and I thought it was something to do with the board being more grippy, but I think it was that, like, you feel like shuffle isn't truly random. Like, I feel like I'm seeing more victories on that side. And then I started to fixate on it, and I was like, it's too late, man. There's nothing you can do about it now. I mean, I think I've watched 8 rounds in a row win to the truck on the right. But it was level. I checked the level of the board. I had just painted it the day before with some Rust-Oleum Tall Boys. It's an old piece of plywood. I can't see how it could have more advantage one side or the other. I gave that one the KO because Zoidberg flipped over. Generally, I was calling it that the wheels had to drop off that side of the board for it to count. But I'm really fixating on the right-hand victories now. It's almost like whoever got to start first on the right side, because it went, they switched ends, the right side would win. But then something comes along and disproves my random theory, because Ironsides just pulled both times on the lightest truck here. And then they get really close. And then I was watching playback, I don't know how many times to add the graphical overlays, and it occurred to me, it's not about what side they're on, I don't think. It's more about weight. Because if you've followed along at all, you'll notice that the 2 heaviest rigs in the competition, both TRX4s, are facing off against each other in the finals. And aside from that one off to the side that I judged a KO because Zoidberg flipped, anytime a competitor would go off to the side, I would just call it a draw. And if one failed to pull the other guy off in 3 tries, they would swap ends. So after this, Jolly Green will get to swap to that right side and then just fly off the board. So he's up 1-0. And then, as I mentioned, the cords pulling apart, they managed to pull that chain hook. Like, that's literally a hook you hang shop lights by, and it just pulled them apart. And then Jolly Green with a win to the left. And there's your podium, which as I mentioned before, the heaviest is in first, the second heaviest is in second, and the third heaviest is in third. With that, the placings and final scores for King of the Board should surprise no one. It's basically a weight chart from heaviest to lightest as it goes down. We'll take one brief glimpse at the leaderboard from the midway point, and then we'll throw on the scores from King of the Board and see where we're left. And it's with Jolly Green now pretty well out into the lead. But it kind of casts my forecast from a round or 2 back, where I said something along the lines of the top 4 positions kind of being decided. Now I don't think that's true. Argentum is a real curveball in this, and I think with 2 rounds to go, it's officially up in the air now. And at the end here of the very brisk to present and eternity to film and edit round 5 of Crawler Cross Raid, I resort to crowd sourcing again to ask for some ideas for what I should throw into round 6. I have a really strong idea of what I'm gonna do for round 7, but round 6, I don't know. I'm kind of running thin on ideas at this point. So if you've got any ideas, throw them down in the comments, and I will definitely take a look at them. Now I guess is the point of self-promotion. We're down here at the end. Be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't. Check out my other videos. Check out Crawler Canyon on Instagram for little updates on the course and the rigs. And thank you for watching. Thank you for making it all the way through. And I hope to see you in the next one.